I am Nathalia J, reporting from Kids First. Today I have the pleasure and honor to catch up with celebrity chef Wolfgang Puck and director David Gelb to discuss the new documentary Wolfgang. Wolfgang Puck became the first celebrity chef after moving to the U.S. at age 24 and opening his first restaurant, Spago, in Los Angeles in 1982. Among his many awards is a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for his work in the TV industry. David Gelb is known for directing and producing films such as Street Food, Jiro Dreams of Sushi, Chef's Table, and many, many more. His documentary, Wolfgang, offers an intimate look into the life and work of Wolfgang Puck. It is time to get excited because the premiere is set for June 25th of this year, 2021, on Disney+. Let's get started. Hi, Wolfgang Puck and David Gelb. How are you both?
Excellent. Very good, thank you.
Great to hear. Well, let's get started. First off, Mr. Puck, congratulations on your legacy in all aspects of culinary arts. In the past, you said you don't like to recall your past too much, but in this film, you reveal your incredible true life story. Why were you ready to share your story with us now?
Well, I think I'm at a certain age that I want young people to know, who know me now from the restaurants all around the world, but I want young people to see that it wasn't always like that I came from a household with an abusive stepfather. Then I left the home when I was 14, and like a lot of kids do that today, but they don't go to work, they just leave. So I had a purpose. I went to work, I went to an apprenticeship in a kitchen, and there the chef was just as abusive. But I never really told anybody that story. And I think David Gelb is such a great storyteller, and the way he tells the story about chefs and everything. So I thought he would be great to make it look like inspiring also. I don't want to make it into a sad thing. I want to feel young people, especially, to be inspired by it.
Well, I think your story really has made an impact. It is truly inspiring for other young kids who might be in a similar situation as you or have endured what you have at such a young age, and who dream to be something as big as yourself, even if it isn't just a chef, but perhaps it is. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, to hopefully inspire a few young people.
I'm sure you did.
Along with that, Mr. Gelb, this film reveals Wolfgang as the man behind the restaurant empire in such an exquisite way. What made you decide to film this about the iconic celebrity chef Wolfgang Puck?
Well, Wolfgang Puck has always been a hero of mine. When I was just a kid and I was eating in his restaurant with my dad, he came out from the kitchen and he goes to every single table and greets everybody. And I was eating a Wiener Schnitzel. And so he came up to me and said, "Oh, are you Austrian?" Which I'm not, but it was a great, made me feel so special and starstruck, and that set me on a path to make films about chefs. And so I had the opportunity to tell the story of the great Wolfgang Puck. It was like a dream come true for me. And so it was a great honor to make this film.
Well, just like Wolfgang Puck said himself, you are an amazing storyteller and you did such a wonderful job. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And back to Mr. Puck, this film reveals your troubled childhood and how you survived it to become one of the most successful and renowned chefs. What advice do you have for kids like me, as someone who has overcome challenging obstacles in the quest to follow their dreams?
Well, everybody has adversities in their lives. I had them because of my parents, but I had the love of my mother. But I also think for young people, it's important maybe to find your mentor, to find your passion. What are you passionate about it? If you're great at playing basketball or you're great at playing piano, if you really want to excel, practice makes better. So you have to practice a lot, and don't take no for an answer. Don't say you cannot do it, or like my stepfather said, you're good for nothing. It's like we have to believe in ourselves that we can achieve something and work on it really hard. I think for me, hard work paid off. There was no hour days. The minimum was 12 hours. And still today, I tell young people, 12 hours is only half a day.
Well, just like you said in the film, never give up. And that's something that you proved and justified, because although you've been told many times, even fired at such a young age, you came back to the restaurant and you were not taking no for an answer, and you still got to work, which is pretty amazing. So thank you for that piece of advice.
Thank you.
Continue, Mr. Gelb. When you originally envisioned this film, I imagine that you had lots of ideas that you had to drop along the way. How did you decide what to include and what to let go?
That's the hardest part of making the movie, is because Wolfgang has had such a big life with so many different achievements.
Mm-hmm.
It is very difficult to decide what makes the movie. And I think that we stuck to the things that were really to the very, very core of his story. You know,
Mm-hmm.
coming from this humble beginning in Austria, finding his inspiration in France, and learning that, discovering that, he decided, I can do this. I believe in myself and I can do this. And then coming to the United States and then exploding, becoming this big, big celebrity and opening these wonderful restaurants. And I think that that's really, as long as we stick to the main storyline, that's really what we've decided to focus on.
Mm-hmm. And I think you kind of justify that he has so much going on and he's had so many accomplishments. And throughout this film, you get a lot of statements from former colleagues and former workers of his, and even friends and family, like his sister herself. And I remember one of them saying that, he has all these items on the shelves. He has so many restaurants, including Spago, that she just can't keep up. And, this is one of the first times I was introduced. My mom told me about this. And I was like, well, I have to check out Wolfgang Puck. And I learned more about you. And it was just pretty shocking, because I was like, how could somebody do all this just at once, and you're still doing it today. So bringing it back to Mr. Puck, when you first came to the US, the food culture was not on par with that in Europe. Can you share with us how you introduced people in Los Angeles to a different sensibility about food, and what difficulties did you encounter?
Well, I think when I came first to Indianapolis for a year, I cooked more steaks well done in Indianapolis, and people asking me for baked potatoes instead of having vegetables or things like that. When I came to LA, I said, wow, this is like Provence. This is like south of France, the climate and everything. And then I found out a farm down south in Rancho Santa Fe, the Chino farm. And I went there and I tasted their tomatoes, tasted their strawberries. And I said, wow, this is as good as I had when I was in Europe. So now, how are we going to bring that to the table? How are we going to actually make something out of that? So I remember when I did the first time, I brought these vegetables. I did a dinner at the Bel Air Hotel, and some of the old customers, they looked at my green peas and green beans, and they were green because I just cooked them very shortly and tossed them with a little olive oil and salt and pepper. And they said, oh my God, you put food coloring in your vegetables. And I said, what are they talking about, really? So then I went into their pantry. All the vegetables they served at that time at the Bel Air, that was in the 80s, were canned vegetables from France. I mean, it was crazy. And here we are in Southern California, the best climate, the best growing seasons, for all things. Like even now, today, I go to the farmer's market and get my peaches, my cherries, my nectarines. They taste so amazing, as good as anywhere. So that was the first step. You start with great ingredients, and then hopefully you can cook them the right way, and you're going to make something good. So it's really simple in a way, it doesn't have to be so complicated. In the old time, they covered up the food with a lot of sauces, a lot of things. Why? Because the food wasn't really fresh. The ingredients were not really fresh. So they had to cover it up. These days, we get everything fresh. I can go to the market in the morning, the fish market, and buy my tuna or my black bass, whatever it is, and then just cook it. So it's really simple.
Well, I have to say, you did change the way we all eat in this country. I mean, even including pizza on your menu. And many thought, pizza wasn't that fancy. And, what I took away from the film, a special moment, was a Joanne Collins story. And, she came in, you guys ran out of bread, you guys ran out of all those things. And you were like, well, what can we give her? And you created a pizza with no cheese and no tomato sauce, and added smoked salmon, thinly cut. I remember it all. It was pretty amazing for you to do that just on the spot. So good job on that. I was pretty shocked.
Thank you. And we love it. My son, who is maybe your age, he loves the smoked salmon pizza. So I think it's good to really see what you can do with imagination, where you can go. Yes, somebody made pizzas with tomato sauce for 100 or 300, or I think since Queen Margarita came to Naples, I don't know, in the 15 or 1600, I don't know when it was anymore. So they made it with tomato sauce because they grew tomatoes. They had mozzarella because they had the buffaloes there. So they made it that way with leftover bread, though. But I think then when I said, they did that already, why do it the same way? If you make a love song, if you sing the way The Weeknd sings, You have to make your own. You have to get your own words, your own music, your own beat and everything. And that's what I try to do with my food.
Well, you sure made a difference. Thank you both for taking the time with speaking to me today. My mother is a huge fan of the film and you, Mr. Puck, so she's going to be quite jealous that I have the opportunity to speak with you. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you. Bring her to the restaurant and say hello, okay?
I'm definitely going to come by. I have to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both for talking with me today. I am Nathalia Jackson, reporting from Kids First. I just interviewed legendary chef Wolfgang Puck and director David Gelb about the upcoming film Wolfgang, which releases on June 25th, 2021 on Disney+. Be sure to look, like, and subscribe to our channel so you can watch other talent interviews and film reviews. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!
Is my purpose in life.